representations. I can represent relationships between two quantities with function rules, graphs, and tables. So let's first get rate of change. Rate of change is the ratio or the relationship of how y changes to how x changes. So let's just write this, the change in y to the change in x. And we'll take a look at what that means in a second here. So here's the first example. It's going to start in words, and you're going to write an equation from the words. I'm going to slide this up here. And then we're going to create a table and find the rate of change. And then we'll be able to graph it. So we'll use all of these parts that we've been learning. So the cost of a movie ticket is your equal sign. So the cost of the movie tickets, we'll use C for cost, is $8 times the number of tickets. Well, we don't know how many numbers of tickets there are, how many tickets there are, so we end up with C equals 8T. So there's our equation. So let's define our variables. T will be the number of tickets, and C will be the cost. So we say, well, let's buy one ticket. Well, if we plug in 1 for the ticket, it'll be $8. Let's buy 2 tickets. 2 times 8 is 16. Let's buy 3 tickets. 3 times 8 is 24. So what would be our rate of change? Well, let's take a look. How did y change here? Because this, remember, is our x always, and this is always our y in a function. So from 8 to 16, I went up 8. From 16 to 24, I went up 8. The x each time went up by 1. So it's the relationship of y, which is 8, over x, which is 1. Let's just look at a quick example of what happens if I did, if I did 2, I'd get 16. Let's make the x go up by 2 this time. So 8 times 4 is 32. And let's make it go up by 6. 6 times 8 is 48. I just want you to see how the rate of change is the same. So if this was my y and this is my x, so the x this time went up by 2 each time. The y went up by 16. And you can see 32 to 48 is 16. So if you take your rate of change, your y, over your x, that would simplify down to 8 over 1. It's the relationship. So let's graph our numbers here. So the first thing we do is we have to make sure we label our graph. So the x would be your tickets, and the y would be your cost. And then we're going to graph these. Over 1, up 8, you get an approximation. Over 2, up 16. Over 3, up 24. And I'm doing this on a computer, so I'll make my line the best I can, and arrows on the end. All right, so you try this one. Great Big Fun charges $3 per game of bowling, plus $2 for the shoe rental. All right, so per always tells us multiplication of a game plus the $2 of the shoe rental. So our variables would be the number of games we played and, again, our total cost. So if we play $3 per game plus $2 for the shoe rental, that's going to give us the cost of bowling at Great Big Fun. So let's do one game. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. Let's go 2 games. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. Let's go 3 games. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. All right, our ratio, our rate of change, you will notice this one up by 3, and these each one up by 1. So my rate of change is 3 over 1. And then I graph it. So this would be my games. And again, this will be my cost. over 1 up 5, over 2 up 8, over 3 up 11. I'm going to go off the graph. That's okay. And draw your line through. All right, let's go to our worksheet and take a look at the first one, the example. Sam opened a savings account and deposited. Deposited means he put in $25. So he starts with $25. He plans to put in, so he's going to put in some more, $5 each week. Remember, the variable always comes right after that. So we have W equals weeks, and T will be my total. All right, so then you would fill it in and graph it. So we'd have 1 week. I like to keep my numbers small. Plus, I want to look down here on what I have in my X value. Again, remember, this is weeks. We need to label that. So I want to keep it within those. So if I put in 1, 5 times 1 is 5, because we have to do that first in order of operations, is 30. If I put in 2, I get 10. 10 plus 25 is 35. I can put in a different number. Well, I should keep, so the rate of change stays the same. My X's should stay the same. If I put in 3, I get 15. 15 plus 25 is 40. And then I can graph. 1 is 30, 2 is 35, and 3 is 40. And I draw my line. I did forget to make my total over here. All right, stop the video now and try the worksheet. Come back in a little bit to try the next ones that look like this. All right, this is going to be written differently in the fact that they give you the equation. You need to write the description, the table, and the graph. Some of the other ones will start with the graph, and you fill out the table to make the equation and the description. So these you have to do, try to do 4 of any of the ones that are given. You can pick 4 to do. So the cost equals 10 cents. T will be for the text. So there's my first variable, plus the $50. So I could write something like the cost of my cell phone bill, cost of the cell phone bill is $50 plus 10 cents per text. There, you just wrote your first description. And then you'll go through the same thing on your table, and then you will graph it.